Welcome everybody. As people are hopping on, we're gonna get started here in about 3 minutes. I want to welcome you to the Cultivate Coaching session too, though. My name is Devin, and I work with Be the One in student development, and so I get the opportunity to speak into students' lives through Be the One. And so it's just fun. It's fun to connect with other people who are invested in the next generation. So I'm excited to get to know everybody that's on the call. So we're going to start right at 6 o'clock, like I said. But as people are hopping on, we just wanted to take a moment to connect with you. And so come on, I see Stu on here. How you doing, Stu? You doing good? I see Ian, I see Sebastian, Mandy. Come on, you guys. I'm so excited to see everyone. Hey, why don't we start with dropping some stuff in the chat? We're going to be using the chat box a lot tonight throughout the night. And so I know Mitch is going to talk some more about that later. But for now, why don't you drop in the chat, tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, and why you got into youth ministry or invested into the next generation. I know I've worked with young people through Be the One for the last 9 years. And so I kind of got into it through mission trips that we were doing through Be the One. And Pastor Stephen has really just influenced the way that I do ministry and the way that I lead the next generation. And so I'm excited to hear from him. But why don't you go ahead and tell us in the chat how you're involved in student ministry. Let's get it going. So even if you're, a parent, a teacher, no matter how you're involved, go ahead and drop that in the chat. Okay, we got Mandy. She's a mom, works in a school with junior high students. Stu and Christy, youth pastors, come on, holding it down. Come on, Laura, middle school girls, small group leader. Come on, at the house, whoop, whoop. Go ahead and put mine in here. Come on, who else we got? All right, so we have just a few more seconds before we're gonna jump it off. And so what I'm gonna do is, as people are still putting how they're involved in the chat, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Mitch. He leads our Activate clubs through Be the One. So you guys put a hand clap emoji in, or your favorite emoji for Mitch.
Hey, everybody. Well, here's the deal. If you have just jumped on, welcome to our second Cultivate Coaching. My name is Mitch, and we know that you are excited to hear from our founder and leader, Pastor Stephen Sexton, tonight, as he just teaches some practical ways to take your student ministry, to the next level. These coachings will help take your ministry further, faster. And that is something that you'll hear a lot tonight. But we just want to take a moment to shout out just some people who are streaming. Everyone here is someone who is choosing to invest, in the next generation. We've got youth pastors, mentors, some teachers, some parents, and even a couple of our Activate leaders. And here's the deal. I'm talking right to you guys, Activate leaders. Come on, we see you. I'm talking right to you. We are cheering you on, championing you. Our culture is always going to need young leaders. And I'm glad that our ministry is investing in them. So Layla and Trevor, I just want to take a minute and brag on you guys. These are two young people, two of our 7 young people who are choosing to bring a faith-based Be the One club into their public schools. Is that not crazy? Like, we've got students who are willing to give of their time to help move ministry forward, to go further, faster. And so we are immensely, immensely proud of you guys. Also on this Zoom call, there are a couple of our staff members on there, and all of them carry super high levels of responsibility. And so if you've got questions, about social media, worship, administration, discipleship, events, you name it, their email will be available in the chat box. Go check those out. Speaking of the chat box, Devin kind of mentioned it before, but this call is going to be highly interactive. So you're going to want to get those emojis ready, get them rolling. We're going to throw in some clap emojis. We're going to ask for your favorite emoji. You're going to want to use that to your advantage, because that's also going to be where we're putting helpful links. All things Be the One are going to be in our chat box. So you're going to want to keep that up. In fact, as we do things in the chat box, we're also going to be giving away a Chick-fil-A gift card. We're going to be randomly selecting somebody. So come on, who doesn't love free Chick-fil-A? So be ready to let us know what you're thinking, man. Let us know what questions you have. Tell us how you're growing. Remember, we want to help you any way that you can. So we're going to get in some practice. Why don't you guys throw in what state you are streaming from tonight? Come on, who do we got? Where do we see? What state are we in? Come on, Arkansas, Texas, horns down. Come on. Got some Missouri, Arkansas. Come on, go Hogs. That's it. Yeah. All right, come on, Louisiana. That's it. Arkansas, man. Those Hogs holding it down. It's fun. Well, hey, here's the deal. As we get started, it is my pleasure to introduce the director of Be the One Ministries. Y'all throw some hand clap emojis if you can find it. Look for it for Alexis Hood.
Woo. Hey, everyone. Like Mitch said, my name is Alexis. I've been connected to Be the One since day one. And let me tell you, I'm a true example of what Be the One can do in the life of a young person.
Right.
And as Mitch said, I'm the director of Be the One. So I oversee the day-to-day of operations. And so if you ever want to connect, if you have questions about administration or events, I'm your girl. And so my email is going to be in the chat box. You can email me. I would love to connect with you and personally know you. But a little more about Be the One. So Be the One started in 2012 with the goal of awakening a generation of difference makers.
Right.
And so real quick, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 thoughts on where we're coming from as a ministry and what we are doing and how we are investing in young people. And so just last month, we wrapped up our biggest summer yet. Summers are big here at Be the One. And we had an internship with 5 interns. We had 2 local trips, international missions. In one summer, we did over 70 outreaches where young people were touching ministry. And our staff members, we've already started interviewing a couple of young people for next summer's internship. So if you've got a student on your radar to become a next level leader in your group, you should encourage them to look into the Be the One internship. Every young person that comes through is a next level leader. It's so awesome. And next week, we're actually launching 7 Activate clubs in middle schools and high schools. Come on. We've got Be the One missionaries in the school system. And this is opening the opportunity for even greater impact. And we're just so proud of these young people. They've got the courage to go into their public schools and get support from teachers and principals. And some even had to connect with their superintendent. And so they're inviting friends to their clubs to learn about God and leadership. And so it's just amazing to see what God's doing. And then recently we sent one of our highest capacity couples to launch a campus in Belize. They're actually on this call tonight. And so real quick, I'm going to pass it to Adam so he can share a little bit about what God is doing in Belize.
Hey, yeah, thanks so much for hopping over to me. Alexis, great to see you guys. I know we're a little bit further away this time. You know, we're not there in Arkansas, but it is good to get on with you guys. And so just want to say thanks so much. And really, since we've started in July, it's just been absolutely amazing seeing what God has just been doing here in Belize. Just incredible things. God's just moved in bold and powerful ways. And God has seriously been at work in so many hearts. And really since just even we started making the plan for Be the One Belize and what that was going to look like and kind of starting to plan over a year ago, God just began to work in hearts. And so it's by no accident now that we see young men and women reigniting their faith, discovering the Father's heart, just every single week at Activate Clubs. And so if you're interested in following along with our journey, I'll throw the link in there in the chat to our website and our Instagram page. But at this point, what I can tell you is, man, Be the One is growing. And so we wanted to just tell you guys that it's going to be an amazing time. This is going to be an awesome call. And so my man Devin. Devin is going to get on here and he's going to share just a few practical steps that will help make the next hour a huge success for us. We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely, that's right. And I know we're all itching to hear Pastor Steven. So here in a couple moments, he's gonna hop on and we're gonna get started. Real quick though, if you ended up on this call and you didn't sign up through the form that we sent out, we love that you're here, but we would ask that you go ahead and fill that out. One, because that's the way that you're gonna be able to win some Chick-fil-A. Come on, and as a youth pastor, I know you might be on a budget. You need some free food in your life, so go ahead and fill that out. We want to be able to connect with you. And then secondly, I want to let you know that if you haven't already, go ahead and mute your mic. Come on. I remember back when in 2020 when we had to do Zoom calls as a student leader. Come on, it's nothing worse than, you're in the middle of doing something and a kid says something random or you hear their mom yelling at them in the background. So we just want to avoid that. Go ahead and mute up right now. And so anyway, we're excited for this call. We hope that this is going to help you move further, faster. And so our founder, I'm so grateful that we have a founder that cares so much about the next generation and has been investing in them for a really long time. And so go ahead, let's put our hands together, throw a clap emoji in the chat for Pastor Steven Sexton.
Hey, what's up, leaders, teachers, parents? We're so glad that you are here. I promise this is going to be well worth your time. I'm glad you made time for coaching. You know what? Listen, everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs someone to speak into their life or even give them thoughts that are maybe outside their normal focus. And it is our heart that you would move further, faster. Over the last 25 years of working with students, it's been my goal to empower those who are going to be the one in their cities, in their churches, in their families. If you've missed our last Cultivate Coaching, we talked about the who. And so here's the thing, when I talk to leaders, they're like, we don't have anybody. And the who answers that question. And our team right now is throwing that in to the link so you can watch that at another time, because we just want to resource you. Listen, I remember I was a youth pastor for 20 years. I worked at Brook Hill Ranch summer camp. And I just remember what it was like trying to learn how to minister to young people, grow something. Not only that, but just being a parent. And, most of my childhood was I go visit mom and I go visit dad, but I never saw mom and dad together. So just learning how to manage that and create that. And so we want to help you. Today, we're going to talk about the how. And this is going to be a lot of nuts and bolts. How do we get there? How do we, move forward? How do we create the home? How do we create the relationships? How do we create the team? How do we get there? Well, you got to start with the end in mind. Today, we're going to unpack the how, and this means how do we produce the team that's in our heart? How do we activate healthy teams and high impact people? What is our part? And what is God's part? What is God's grace and what is our race? And that is the tension with every teacher, with every parent, and with every student leader is what's on me and what's on him. The how is produced by slowing down and becoming intentional. Our staff at Be the One Ministries believes there are 4 phases to the how. They are structures, systems, shepherding, and circle back. And we're going to talk about all of these here in just a second. But first, I want to ask you a question. Where are you headed? Where are you taking your students, your team, your kids, your volunteers? Well, let me say it like this. Where will the people that you lead end up? Most student leaders are so excited about ministry that they want to run wide open, and if we're not careful, leadership will be confined to share, care, and the flair. I mean, whoa, come on. It's got to be exciting. Well, all we got to do is love on people. And I just need to share the word. Come on, I need to preach my word. And we find that building something is more than that. My heart is to prepare you to win wherever God has you serving, if that's in the family, if that's in the classroom, or if that's in the church, even if that's a coach Like we want you to win. Most student leaders, if we think about it, let me give you two quick Bible verses that I think will help us. Habakkuk 2:2 says, "And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on the tablets, so he may run who reads it." Look, if it isn't clear and it isn't written down, nobody can run. Come on, that you better underline that right there. Like everybody's wanting to know, like, how can we run faster? How can we run better? What can we do? Listen, if it's not clear, people can't run because they don't know where they're running. Proverbs 29:18 says, without a vision, people cast off restraint, but blessed, come on, is the one who heeds wisdom's instruction. Patrick Lencioni, in his book, The Advantage, states this, that every organization needs a thematic goal. Basically, what that means is you find out where you want to go and you begin to work backwards. We see a thematic goal is more than just a goal of what you want to see, it's how to get there. Teachers, your daily classroom structure matters. This is like the concept of scope, where you try to define where you're going by the end of the year, and sequence is how to get there. Parents, from the time that your children were born, you've been working yourself out of a job. I know, come on. I have 4 kids and I love them all. But the moment they were born, we were preparing them for society. I didn't just have a baby girl. I had someone's wife. I didn't have just a baby boy. Come on. I began to have someone and started to train someone as a husband and father. And so if the goal for all of our families is that everybody come home at Christmas, then what are we going to have to do for there to be respect and communication and forgiveness so that we can grow some things, so that we can keep families, come on, together. Student leaders, if you want to see 30 more students at your next student event, come on, the thematic goal is the steps it takes to actually see it happen. A thematic goal requires vision and intentionality. Without a vision, come on, the leader isn't focused, and those they're leading don't have clarity. We all have laws that says that you can't drive without vision. You need to be able to see in order to drive. The same would be true for teachers, parents, leaders. If you want to drive this team, family, or ministry, you got to know where you're headed. We aren't leaders because we have a bunch of ideas. Come on, listen, we don't say whoever has the most ideas, that's the leader. We believe the leader is the one who has the vision and can create a pathway to get there. So we call this, we're going to talk about 4 phases real quick, and we're going to talk about the city. This is the city. The vision is the city. Come on, let's unpack this. Do you know where you're headed? Can you say, I know where we are going? Do you see it? If we are going on a trip, listen, I can't get excited unless I know where we're going. If you say, hey man, we're fixing to go somewhere together, I don't know what to pack. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know where we're going to go. Like, I can't get excited about where we're going unless I have a vision for where we're going, unless I can know the city. It's the leader's job to paint the picture of where we're headed. Come on, where are we headed as a family? Where are we headed in this classroom? Where are we headed in this student ministry? Can I just say that if you are a student pastor, student leader, you serve under the senior pastor. It is not your job to create the vision of the youth group, but it's your job to talk to the senior leader, the senior pastor, and say, what is your vision for the young people of this ministry, and how can I help get them there? For people to thrive on the team, they got to know the leader's vision. So it's not only that we got to know, but we got to show. Now think about this. what does there look like? Come on, if we talk about the vision, what does there look like? What does it feel like? What does it look like? We got to show them what it's going to look. As a parent, I'm always talking to my 16-year-old about being 18. I'm always talking to my 13-year-old about being 16. I'm always talking about, and so I don't wait until the moment they're 16 to start talking about driving. I'm talking about driving every time I'm driving down the road, because I want to show them what a good driver is and what someone who is unsafe. Come on. And so as we're talking about leaders, don't just give people a vision of where you want to go. Give them a vision of where you see them going. Come on. Show them why we can't stay here any longer. Show them what changes need to be made. If you want to grow your student ministry, you're going to have to show them how. Great leaders guide thoughts. They don't just correct actions. If you're showing up on Sunday night or in your classroom, come on, or at home, and you feel like you're always in correction mode, if you feel like you're always correcting their action, then maybe they don't have your thoughts. Show it, model it. It takes intentionality and excellence to make it to the city. So we talked about know, we talked about show, let's talk about grow. It's better, come on, there than it is here. Here is great, but it's better there. So listen, for us as leaders, showing up isn't growing up. The goal isn't just to get kids to show up to youth group. The goal isn't for them just to go try to clean their room. Come on, we want them to grow up. On every trip. You got to find out what you're going to pack. Come on, have you ever been on a trip and no one really told you all the details? You showed up and you did not have what you need. In other words, we got to know what needs to be packed. In all of our leadership, we're trying to pack concepts that will help them grow, be successful. In order to enjoy your time in the city, we got to know what items to bring. Don't forget your underwear. Come on, don't forget your bathing suit. And please do not forget your toothbrush. When we make it to the city, will we have loaded in us everything that we need to enjoy it there? If I get to your vision, will I be ready to do it? To get to the vision, we see every leader needs a packing list. And what right now does your worship leader need? What right now does your host need? What right now does your social media need? Come on, right now you're trying to pack in your kids. 18 is coming. And what do we need to load into them now to get them ready when they get there? Vision makes our team make a choice. Okay. So when you begin to say, here is where we're going, then people get to decide, do I want to go there? And that's huge for leaders because we want buy-in. The second thing is this, the road, okay? And so we're going to look at this picture real quick. We got the city, but just getting to the city, that's not anything. Oh man, look, I have some vision. Boy, I know what our family's going to be like. I'm going to have a great year in our classroom. Man, I'm so excited about what God's going to do this year in our student ministry. But without a road, nobody gets there. Come on, that's good. Structure is how we get there. It's the road we travel to get where we're going. That means we're working on it. Listen, if the road is bumpy, people want to take another road. If the road is always under construction, it's frustrating. If the road is too curvy, come on, one day I had this idea. Oh, and I watched a 5-second reel on Instagram and I changed my whole ministry. And so whoa, where are we? Come on, help me going. The driver and the road determine, can anybody else go but the driver? You know, that's the crazy thing about car sickness is usually the driver doesn't get sick, but everybody else. And the further you are in the back, the more you're dealing with the leader and their driving. For us, jump into a time machine and take 24 months, go 24 months in the future. Did you get there? Or did you hope to get there? If If not, we got to start paving the road. Do you know who you need? So we're talking about paving. Here's the two things that you're looking when you pave the road. You got to know who you need, and you got to know what you need them to do. Who do you need, and what do you need them to do? How many vehicles do you want to get to the city? For us in ministry, for us a parent, my goal is to pave the way. Come on. So as many vehicles that God wants to send will make it to the destination. The how must be built so vehicles can get there. How many people are being discipled right now? Who's on your team? How many people are touching ministry? You listen, if you're not careful, you can't do everything and get to the city and get to the place that God has called you to be. So let's break this down. Youth, pastors, student leaders, you can't be the door greeter, worship leader, leader of the game, host the night, preach a great sermon, and everybody get to the city. Come on. Oh me or oh my. Go on and put it in the chat. Just say, thank you, Lord. Parents, we can't overserve or underserve our kids. Remember, we are helping them create the road. That means they've got to be contributors in our home. This road is paved with responsibility, and we want our children to grow in responsibility. For all of those administrators, come on, if you're an administrator in the room, throw something in the chat. Anything that you have to do every single week can be delegated. Creating a schedule, picking up the games, supplies, invitations, sending out a text, managing a budget, unloading stuff, putting events into the calendar, scheduling volunteers, detailing your communication. Like all of that can be passed to somebody else because it's not morality and it's not breaking down the Bible. The problem is we are so busy talking about the city that we didn't slow down to find out who we need and what we want them to do. Social media. You can't do it all yourself. If you really want your social media to grow, come on, you can't take all the pictures, do all the videos, do all the stories, write all the captions, and you got to have a team that begins to do that. Because you got to ask yourself, did God call you in the ministry to be a social media content provider? Or are you the influencer? Come on, help me. That is the one really moving this forward. You know, how do you want your stories to look? Do you want to edit every photo? Worship. Come on, let's talk about that. You need to find an admin team. And when I say you need to build it. Like we can create a worship set. We can schedule. Well, my kids don't know how to play. And here's the thing. You start with one kid. You start with one student. You start with somebody who's just like, hey, we're going to play these 4 songs until you no longer have to look at the music stand. And as soon as you don't have to look at the music stand, we're going to add one more song. And now when you know all these 3 songs and you don't have to look at the music stand, I want you to get your friend and I want them to come. Well, they can't play. Well, neither could you. So now we want them to come. I've literally bought guitars and basses and given them to kids who are the most faithful and said, in 6 months, I need you to learn how to play. You jump on YouTube. Like, this is the how. Activate club leaders. Listen, we're not just hosting events. You got to find people. You've got to give them expectation. You've got to say, hey, will you help me in this? Teachers, come on, in the classroom. Do your kids know where to go? Are they achieving the things that we want in the classroom? Do the substitutes know the plans? And are they clear and precise? If 30 people showed up to help you get to the city, let me ask you this. What would you have them do? You're responsible for the what and the who you need. Okay? And so, listen, we're going to talk more about the work. In December, we're going to do another one of these. If you want to write that down, they'll give you all the information, but it's going to be super beneficial. So we talked about what was the first one? Come on, help me. I know what it is. It was the city. The second one is the road. And the third is the vehicle. The vehicle. Come on. We're talking about how we're going to get the vision that God's put in our heart, our pastor's heart, in our family. So now it's the vehicle. So if we have a vision, we know where we're going. The road is how to get there. Now the vehicle is the system that makes us move. We're in it now. Systems drive growth. Great systems are destination focused. We get to focus on people and processes. It's our job to make sure teams grow in confidence. This happens when people know what they're doing. When your team shows up, do they hit the ground running or do they look for you? Hey, what do you want us to do? We're here. So excited. I'm called into the ministry. Come on. Like what? Like the church is called to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. So I've got to slow down and begin to give them a system that every time they show up on Wednesday night or Sunday night, they're rolling and I'm catching up to them because now they're having vision for their area. Come on. At 16 and 17, I'm not really telling my kids, you should clean your room. This is the expectations of a clean room. Don't come down and tell me it's clean. If you haven't vacuumed, taken out the trash, made your bed, got all your clothes in your drawer. And so now we have a system and that system's not going to change. So when you say, Mom or Dad, I've cleaned my room, then we both know what we're talking about. I've done these 7 things and these 7 things don't change. Systems help us get people on the same page. Let me ask you this. Do you have leaders in your group, in your ministry, or do you have chaperones? Leaders lead people. Chaperones watch people. God didn't call people and God said, let them be chaperones. What? Come on, listen. Leaders lead. Systems help us make sure that no one falls through the cracks. Our credibility as leaders can be damaged when the systems are broken. Why would we pray for more people when we don't know what more people could do? We never want to be a leader who says a lot and does a little. When we don't delegate, we get stuck in just doing and never developing. As a parent, I'm always developing my kids for the next 8. As a teacher, we're always developing our students. We must keep more than we carry. Listen, let me break that down. If you keep more than you carry, you will burn out because you can't hold that much. That's why so many people have anxiety, because they have so much to do and no time. The way that we begin to move further, faster, is we build systems to let other people help us carry the weight. Systems make you efficient so that you can be more, relational. If you hit tomorrow and you get sick, or you can't go into the ministry, or there was a time when with our 4th child that Katie was on bed rest for like 7 weeks. Here's the question that I have to ask you is, are people ready to take over for you, or do they absolutely need you to do everything? How do we train leaders? It is simple. It's these 3 things. Listen, watch me do, I watch you do, and then I release you to do. Watch me do it. And so when I have you watch me do it, I no longer am saying watch me, but now we're taking the time, pull out your phone. These are the 3 things I'm teaching you. Now you have a system. Now I'm watching you do what we put on your phone, and I'm seeing if you're doing that. Come on. Then I'm releasing you to do it because I've watched you. This is how systems work. And you can make these super detailed. You can make these super strategic. here's the last thing is this, and then I'm going to open up for some questions. I tell you what, if something struck you, even as we're going through this, I would encourage you, throw a question in the chat. Hey, I would love to circle back on systems, or hey, I would love to circle back on this. And if we have time, we'll do that. Here's our last one is this. So we talked about the city. We talked about the road. We talked about the vehicle. Oh man, we did it. No. There's one other key part, and it is the feeling in the car. It is the culture. It is the culture. And that is where we shepherd. Come on, parents. We shepherd the culture of our home. Teachers, we shepherd the atmosphere in our rooms. Leaders, we shepherd. We circle back. We begin to manage the feelings in the vehicle. Have you ever been in a long ride with someone and you were like scared to talk? Like you went on one trip and the music was bumping and we were jamming and everybody's dancing and you're like, I love riding with these people because and they're playing Life is a Highway or Taylor Swift, whatever your jam is. You know what I'm saying? They're playing a little Kanye, whatever they're playing, but you're like, yeah. Come on, I remember, I'm not that old. I remember back in high school when we drove around Sonic and the culture in the home was, yo girl, is the culture in your ministry, home, and classroom. Does it make people want to stay on the road and in the car long enough to make it to the city? Or do they want out? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they like, I'm out? Like, this culture is too hard. It's too crazy. It's too, come on. For us, we believe that every home, classroom, and student ministry has got to take care of the feeling in the vehicle. And we believe that we do this 3 ways. You got to know your kids, you got to love them, and you got to challenge them. You got to know them. And listen, the bigger your student ministry gets, you're going to have leaders that know them. You may not know everybody, but you got to know them. Come on, parents. It's very easy for there to be one child that is just like you and you're able to talk and connect. And there's another child that's just probably like your mate. And you're going to work on connecting because it's our job to know them all. It's our job to love them all. And it's our job to challenge them all. Shepherding is the care in the car. So what are we shepherding? Come on, listen, we're shepherding behaviors. You know, your worship leader can't be angry. They're up there and they're like, oh, I'm here. And they're a diva and they're on the stage. They don't smile, but they're singing about Jesus. I'm like, okay, hold on, stop, time out. Get saved, get discipled, get a smile, because the culture of leadership here is different than just showing up. Come on, that's what we do. Culture eats vision for breakfast. Your vision will only be as awesome as your culture. Culture gets people in the car and keeps them there. Listen, it doesn't matter how the city looks. Culture makes people want to stay. Here's the last one, and I hope this has been good for you, is we've talked about the city. We have talked about the road. We've talked about the vehicle systems. We've talked about the culture. And I think the last thing that really begins to build our how is the signs. Okay. There's got to be signs, and those signs are communicating something to us. It's a circle back. For every trip, there are signs. And think about this. We need our GPS. Come on. If you use a GPS daily, go on and throw something in the chat, because we already know you have no idea where north and south is. You just GPS. Come on. If it wasn't for Google, listen. Now, sure. Okay. If you've lived at your home for 5 years, you should need a GPS. And if that's you, listen, we praying for you, okay? People don't need a GPS if they're not going anywhere. People need a GPS when the ministry and the family is moving and moving forward and getting somewhere. And we're hoping that our leaders are like, yo, I've never been here before. And so we're going to need some signs in order to do that. Come on. When those signs start communicating that, hey, this turn, watch your speed. Hey, here's how many miles it is to the next rest stop or whatever. Those provide assurance for our team that they're going the right way and they're comfortable. Come on. It's the leader's job to communicate effectively. Every event, ministry moment should be matched with this: wins and make it better. Come on, even family vacations. Hey guys, what was the win? What did y'all love? And what do you want to do different? Like what can we do to make it better? Every youth group, what was our wins and what could we do to make it better? Come on, when worship gets done, what do y'all think was our win tonight and what could we make better? These are the signs of communication. And so when we think about signs, we want them to be clear, compelling, and consistent. And I'm going to break this down. Clear. If you don't know, they don't know. If you're too busy, you haven't stopped to make it clear, then everybody else is confused because nobody knows what you know. And nobody knows what your highest level team knows. Nobody knows what like when Katie and I talk, that doesn't mean the kids know. I have to push that down and make sure and over communicate a lot so that our kids know that, hey, come on, it's just a Sexton moment. I'm just being transparent. We got 4 kids and they don't get to use our washing machine because they're messy and they won't finish their socks and they leave all the stuff in the wash and dryer. And so it's my house. So like 1 mile down the road, we have a laundromat. And guess where all 4 kids go at one time? Come on, y'all need to throw an amen in this chat. And so in 2.5 hours, everybody's done. Everybody's done. The laundry room is clean. And so when your boy wants to do his trousers, he can in my house that I pay for. Be clear. Be clear. Come on. Repeat it. 2 or 3 sentences. Post it. Share it. Say it. Repeat it until it's in their heart and mind. It's not about teachers. Well, I said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. Listen, you said it 45,000 times last year, but all those kids left. And so I know you feel like you've been saying it, but actually we've only been in school 6 weeks and none of these kids know that. So say it again. Make it clear. Make it clear for the substitute. Mom, make it clear. Can they go out? Can they not go out? Can they have a friend over? Can they not? And way too many families are run by if I feel like it. What do they need to do? What is the system? So for us, we have a group me. And if you don't ask us in the group me during the week, the answer is no on the weekend because I'm not doing random. But if you ask me and you got your stuff done and we have a list of things done, then absolutely, we want y'all to throw down. We want y'all to have fun. So make it clear, compelling. Does the vision cause you to want to do anything? People want to be a part of something big, y'all. Come on. So dream big. Have big goals for your family. Have big goals for your classroom. Have big goals for your student ministry. What's an everyday problem that your ministry is going to solve? Young people want to be a part of a movement, and they always have. Most of the movements in culture has happened by the younger culture. Come on, it wasn't the older people that moved into Canaan. It was the younger people. What would it look like to win your local school for Jesus? What would it look like to win your local school? What would it look like to take maybe average academic students and turn them into supernatural leaders? What would it look like to own the tutoring in your area and leverage all of your older adults? You want people to fund your student ministry? Give them the why and the vision and the road and the vehicle. Come on. Consistent. Don't change the picture every week. Jesus never changed his vision, even though he changed the city. What his father told him to do, he did it. He said whatever his father told him to say. If every week you're changing your city because of the cool student leader or the TikTok or the Instagram or the parenting blog you just read, then like every week it's different. Go to the city, be relentlessly consistent, say it a million times, show it all the time, be consistent. Listen, thank you guys for jumping on here on the Cultivating Coaching. I hope this will help you go further, faster. So real quick, here's what I want to do is I would love to, let me see you real quick. Let me get all these full screen here. How can I help you? I mean, I know we did content and I hope that this was helpful to you, but if we got a question, Deb, do we have any questions in the chat or Alexis or anybody? Like, how can I take some of these concepts? Because we got like another 5-10 minutes. And so here's what I will say is I'm going to do something that people don't ever do. I'm going to open the mics. I'm going to let you say something, but I'm asking you, don't be crazy, because I have mute privileges over here. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not, I don't want to hear about your pastor. I don't want to hear about the issue your kids did. I want to talk about what we're talking about. And I want to try to break down something if I can help you. Does that make sense? So Deb, do we have any questions? If not, I'll just call people out. I see your names on here. I just want to help you any way that I can.
I had one. You're talking about culture, and so I wrote down, how do you change a culture that maybe was previously bad, or you inherited from a different leader that you're wanting to change? Can you talk a little bit about how? Because it's one thing to just create a culture where there's nothing, but where there was one already. Could you talk a little bit about how to change a culture?
I think I would bring in leaders and I would ask them what they love about it. And then I would ask them, what is one thing that you think as a team we could do better? What's one thing? And then I would have 10 or 15 things. Do you feel like we have an invite culture? Do you feel like when students come to our ministry that they are welcomed, or do you feel like there's cliques? Do you feel like in worship that we're a karaoke bar trying to follow the words, or are we starting to worship? Do you feel, and I would have 5 or 6 things, not to overwhelm them. And then I would say, out of all of these things, which one do you want to work on? And then we would begin to build a structure. We'd talk about the city and what it could be. Here's where we are, but here's where we're going. Then we would build a road. Then we'd build a system. And as soon as that one thing started working, everyone would buy in and we would tackle the second thing. Is that helpful?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think that's great.
Somebody else.
I think one question I had was, when it comes to student leaders, like, do you recommend, like, we have, we get their times they're available, like times they're out of school. That way we know, when they're available to help us so we can delegate some things.
So here's the deal. I think having them around a leader in proximity is the greatest thing in the world. But we are in a culture where kids look at their phones all the time. And so there's got to be a way where the leader breaks down what a young person can do on the weekend and not have to always be in the leader's presence. And if you'll give them an assignment and a task, then you'll start a relationship and they'll want to come hang out with you after school and on a weekend. But I mean, from 6th grade to 8th and 9th grade, they have more time than they think they do. And if you'll say, hey, can you just help me? And here's I would find a student that came 1 or 2 times. And I would start a conversation. I would say, what are you into? What are you, hey, have you thought, would you look at our Instagram and tell me the 3 posts that actually you think are good? If you start everybody giving you opinion, then you're starting the investment. And so opinions produce fuel, which produce buy-in, which produce you beginning to lead them. Hey, that was great. Hey, you know what? I saw that. That's great. Okay, I'm going to get with my people. We're going to start working on this. I got another question for you. If you're open to it, let me know. And I never ask them. I'm fishing. And so they'll say, yo, no, I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, cool. Would you do this? Tell me about this. Then they tell it. I stop. I fish again. I mean, way too many student leaders want to spiritually marry children before there's ever a relationship. And they want to know that you're for them and you're not going to leave them. And so we got to build that. And I mean, I wish I could come up with a better idea, but you're going to have to date before they begin to marry your ministry and want to see it produce. Somebody else. Tony?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you mentioned something about the system is the road to get people to the city. And you talked about not wanting there to always be construction or not wanting the road to be windy. But I guess my question would be, do you have any kind of timetable for how often you would want to change your system? Because thinking about consistency from the leader, and if you don't, what do you think would be a good way of changing your system without appearing inconsistent?
Well, I think that's a great question, Tony. I think that we are always trying to make it better. So we have a culture of it. We're always making it better. So it's always growing. The next cultivation call that we will do will be better than this one because we're always making it systematically better. We may tweak the system, but we're not rewriting the whole thing. And that's what I'm talking about. You've all been in cities where there's construction for 5 years and you're like, oh my gosh. And the city is like, we're going to get there one day. Come on. How can we get there and what can we do? And so I do think that there are systems that have to change, and leadership is being above the curve. Listen, if you're waiting for everybody to be happy, you're not leading, you're following. A leader means that I've got to make a decision here while everybody else is here. And I'm only making my decision with 50 to 75% of the information. But I still have to make it. Because if I wait till I get all the information and I wait till everybody's on board, then I'm not leading, I'm following. So there are small tweaks that we begin to make in the system that we have our city. Let's talk about worship. We want to have a great worship band. We want to be able to write songs. This is awesome. That's our city. The road is the structure. Who do we need and what do we want them to do? What expectation? Okay, for us to write great songs, you have to come to practice. The system is, what are we going to do in practice? And it's going to be the same every time. The vehicle is how we're getting there. That's what we're doing all the time. Then in every practice, we're laughing, we're having fun, we're challenging. There's moments of tears, hey, I'm sorry that was a really cool lick. It was just all in the wrong key. Culture, we're raising it. like I appreciate like your facial expression is awesome, but girl, you I don't know what key you're in, but I don't even know if that is one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a key. And then the signs help people know where we're going. So I hope I answered that. I don't think that you have to restructure everything all the time. And I don't think that you throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think you fix it a little bit at a time. What about a parent question or a teacher? Or what are you thinking? Activate. Good.
As a parent, just from a parent's perspective, so I have a toddler, and so he's 3, and so just thinking, you said you're always talking to your 18-year-old about, your 16-year-old about being 18, even with a younger. So say we have a younger child, what are some things that you would start to do with a smaller child that maybe you can't sit them down and have a 50-minute conversation about the expectations for their room, but what are some things that you would begin to do to start like giving them leadership?
I would say that here's the deal. I gave my sons and daughters when they were babies a lot of kisses, but I never baby talked them. And so from the very beginning, every time mom comes in or dad comes in with groceries, we're going out and we're helping. And they may only be able to take the bag and it slide across the floor. But there is always something that we can do now that prepares them for later. There's always something right now. And so my city is, we're going to raise strong men and we're going to raise confident women. And so for me to do that now, I'm starting back at 3 and 4 and 2 and 1. And so we're managing responsibility. We're not takers in this home. There is absolutely no entitlement. You are a son and daughter in this home, but all of this is going to be yours one day, but you need to turn off the light. You don't need to eat the last bowl of cereal. You need to go, come on. Like we are growing this incrementally so that they are prepared. And so that may be as small as, hey, MJ, man, we had a great time playing. Go take your toy and go put it up. Not, I want to serve my kids so much that I'm going to put it up for them. Okay, well, when are you going to stop putting it up for them? Because you can't be screaming at 16 because you never let them put up their toy from 5 to 15. So it's a new concept. Does that make sense? Somebody else?
Absolutely.
Can I call on someone? Is that Tristan? Can I call on? Is that uncomfortable? If that is, I won't do it. I'm kind of doing it now.
Go ahead. We'll take it.
What a question. You got a question?
No, but I have a comment. You want to comment?
Sure.
I thought all of this was really good. I mean, and especially when you answered that last question. I mean, my husband was sitting here going, that's good. That'll on. So I appreciate you doing this, and I'm glad that we were able to hop on and listen and learn. And the question they asked earlier about inheriting a youth group from prior leaders and stuff, we're kind of in that situation as well. And the way that you answered it was very graceful, and it was just good information. So
I appreciate it. And listen. It's hard to take over shoes from other people, and especially if they didn't do it the way you want. And here's the deal: no one's ever going to do it the way you like, because you have opinions and God's speaking to you. So what you got to do is, if you will choose honor and build what's there rather than criticize what's there, then there will be a blessing on what you're building. And so I would encourage you to find what is good. There's nothing good, I'm going to be honest, but there is 7 kids. Well, great. You didn't start with 0. So that's good. Come on, you hear what I'm saying? Like, yeah. What is good? And the Bible says, focus on these things and then be a leader for everything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Great. Sebastian, can I call on you? Is that cool?
Yes, it's cool. Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts? Give me your thoughts. I mean, what are your?
I was waiting for it.
Yes, sir.
So I was thinking about, you just mentioned honor. I was thinking about a culture of honor. So how to start building up that culture of honor and respect. Because I mean, I have 1 year being youth pastor here at the Beaver Community Church, and one of the things that took me the most was to get them to respect me and to see me as as their pastor. You know, it was easy for them to see me as a friend, but when it came to the time of giving the lesson, giving the message, and enter into the serious things, it was hard for them to be still and to listen. So nowadays, I don't struggle. We don't struggle with that. Obviously, because the culture change, we don't struggle as much as we do. But what would be one advice that you would give us in order to, yeah, accelerate that change in in them knowing how to honor and respect
That's a great,
their
that's a
pastor?
great, that's a great question, Sebastian. Here's what I would do. If it were me, now remember, anything that you get comes by what you give. And so if I wanted to produce a culture of honor, I would have whoever leads the game. When the kids are talking, I would say, hey guys, hey, listen, this is a leader that has given their time. They could be doing anything else. And come on, we're just going to honor them. Y'all put your hands together for James, who's leading this game. And here's the deal. By you giving James honor, James in enough time will begin to say, hey, yo, Sebastian's talking, pastor's talking, y'all listen up. So you begin to give it to your leaders, and then they begin to give it to you. Hey, you know what? Hey guys, before I start today, listen, I just want to say this, man, y'all give it up for our pastor. I know he's not even in the room, but listen, you know what? His sacrifice to be able, he and his wife to come to this city, to plant this church. I just want to say, like, look, you may not even know him, but something is happening and we're getting to benefit from it. Come on, y'all give it up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all, listen. Hey, my wife, let me just tell you, she made this cake. She's been over here. How many of y'all have gotten a birthday text from my wife or whatever? Hey, y'all, come on, just show her some love today. Come on, it's her birthday in a year from now. And we just gonna clap right now for that later. Yep, it's funny, but yet, you know what you're doing? You're teaching them honor. And you're critical private. There's times that, hey, look, that wasn't a good game. Listen, you said go and nobody even knew the directions. It was terrible. I'm just gonna say it was terrible. But that's private. That's not public, because we honor publicly all the time. And so the Bible says if you give it, you'll receive it.
Yes, that's good.
Cool.
So
Somebody else. Anybody else? Last one. We got like 1 minute left. Anything else? Okay. Hey, listen, everybody, thank you guys so much for coming on. Don't forget about our Activate in December. Can I pray for y'all real quick? And then I'm going to turn it over to Alexis. I think that they got a gift card to give away. And so, Father, we thank you for the parents and the teachers and the leaders and the Activate students that are on this club. Father, I pray that you would lead them, that you would guide them, that you would give them vision. God, give them wonderful city vision. And then give them the discipline and slow them down enough to make the road, to build the systems, to build the car, to have the culture of the car fun. Father, I pray that we would read the signs from your Holy Spirit, the signs from our leaders, the signs from people. And God, I pray that you would move us further, faster. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, guys.
Come on, what an impactful coaching. I always love hearing from founder and Pastor Stephen. His wisdom it's changed my whole life. And it's so important that we implement all 4 of these concepts so that our students and our teams can thrive. And so real quick, throw in the chat, what was your favorite thing that you learned from tonight? I know it'll probably probably be hard to pick, but let's see what you can do. But if you want to take the next step and get more involved with Be the One, we've got a couple of opportunities for you and your team. And so we've officially locked in our summer 2022 opportunities. Yes. We are so pumped about it. And so you guys check out our website, and you should definitely get your students involved in what we've got going on. You will absolutely see growth in your students and your team if they come. And also, this event is totally free, and we've got lots of other free resources for those who invest in the next generation. But if you want to partner with the vision of Be the One, send me an email and we can get you more info on Team One. And basically, these are the people who've chosen to financially support Be the One. And so my email will be in the chat box, so you guys go check it out.
That's super, super good. I think one of my favorite things about tonight is you can't go anywhere without knowing where you're going first. And so with that, you guys having some stuff in the chat box, the more that you comment, and we're going to pick somebody from there. So, hey, Alexis, what if we gave away some Chick-fil-A?
Absolutely.
So here we go. Big drum roll, please. Here we go. Tristan Burke, and you are the winner. It is for you.
Yes.
It's all for you. So here's the deal. If you will email Laura at Be the One Ministries, your address, we'll send you that gift card next week. And she's going to throw her email in the chat box. But here's the deal. If you want to be a part of more giveaways and get some more Chick-fil-A, or really just see what Be the One is up to, this is a ministry that moves all throughout the year in different ways. We want to connect with you on social media at Be the One Ministries, or we want you also to connect with our founder at Steven Sexton _BT1. Keep up with us. We want to know you. We want to hear more from you. So, Alexis, this has been awesome.
It's been so good.
Great time of connecting and learning. And here's the deal. I'm already looking forward to the next one. And so you guys want to mark on your calendars. We're going to have another Cultivate Coaching in December. And you want to be around for that. We will send out more information about that as that comes. But here's the deal. This session was just a small taste of all the leadership concepts that Pastor Steven has for us. We are looking forward to what is next. But with that, that is a wrap for Cultivate Coaching. We hope that this was just the beginning of our connection with you. Go ahead and check out that chat box. We have put tons of things in there. Gather some emails. Check out our website. Follow us on social media. Get those people who were in charge of some areas. We want to connect with you. Remember, we are here to help you move forward, to go further, faster. So we want to make sure that you guys are getting connected. We want to know you. We want to hear from you. But with that, that is all the time that we have today. And so we will go ahead and wrap up early. But we will see you guys next time. We appreciate you coming. Thank you, guys.